girl. Oh my God. What's up, y'all? We are live in Girl Talk today, honey. We decided to give y'all a first hand of the tea that we spill amongst each other. You know how you just be having really good conversations about stuff, and you like, you know what? Respectfully, I wish people talked more about this stuff. Boop. Bye. Here we are. And we have a special guest today. So, first of all, before we even go all the way there, hey, y'all, I'm Sabria, the fairy grandmother.
Period. And I'm Deshanae Dominique. Ow.
I'm Kenneth Taylor. Yo, what's up?
Yes. All right. And today's pop up is called Let's Catch Feelings, honey. Woo. Okay. We are going to be talking about dating in today's climate and really just covering topics that I honestly feel people just don't talk enough about. So let's start spilling the tea, honey. I got tea, but it's not tea.
Okay, so let's go here first before we jump into relationships. Let's talk about friendships.
Child.
And the reason why I wanted to jump there first is because I feel like a lot of people forget that in a relationship. So not
Mm-hmm.
your girlfriend, guy friend friendships, but I feel like we're not good friends to each other. So if we're not good friends to each other, how can I expect you to be ready for a relationship or good in
Mm-hmm.
if I can't even be consistent loyalty, the regular stuff to my girlfriend or my homeboy? Like, do y'all feel
Mm-hmm.
that has something to do with your role in a relationship, or do you feel like a relationship is like, well, this is different. This is somebody I'm loving. I'm going to treat them different than I would treat my friends.
Well, I would hope that you treat them differently from your friends. Cause bye, don't you can't be friendly with everybody over here, sir. Okay. But I do believe that how you treat your friends definitely says a lot about you overall. Just like when you see how people treat the waiter in the restaurant, it says a lot about their character. So if
Right.
they're a trash friend, I really can't imagine that they're just this magical being in a relationship. You know what
I
I'm saying? What you think, Kenneth?
Hey, look, I tell people all the time, how you act. I'm very particular, how people act in the restaurant, and so I feel like now that you brought that up, the same thing with a friendship. Um, I'm gonna assume that this is how you act with everybody. If you just
Mhm.
nasty, you just flat out rude, you just
Mm,
got a potty mouth, or you just can't hold water, you know, I
right.
can't be around you. I wouldn't consider you a friend. You just somebody I know. You
Oh,
know, it's no
like
way.
just somebody that.
Yeah, it's no way we can go outside and I'll be like, yo, I can trust that person because now you're giving me a bad rep. You're giving me a bad name, and people of our caliber, we have to protect our name,
You
and
better
so
preach. That's a
that's how I look at
fact.
it.
That is a fact.
For
Oh,
me,
Dejanay. Oh, go ahead. Okay,
so
you was. I thought you was muted.
I am definitely probably not probably the greatest friend. I'm only with the inconsistency. Like, that's being honest. Like, I'm being honest. Only for the inconsistencies. Like, I know I'm always busy. But I do think that I hold like relationships to another caliber. So it's like, whereas my girlfriend, I may turn down a couple dates with my spouse. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to make time. So I wouldn't really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gauged that now. I do understand what you guys are saying about character. Like, I'm really big on character. I'm really big on your name, your appearance, your integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm gauging how you are as a friend. Like, okay, so how are we in our space? Like, how do you handle being in a circle amongst people? Shows me, and like that, I really agree with that restaurant thing. That burns me. Oh, restaurant etiquette burns.
Ma'am, that should be on the top of. You know what? You know how they. We say. We have our little list of the things that we holler at God, like Lord, he got to be 6'5" and whatever the case may be, right? I feel like that should be at the top of the list. Like, I'm gonna need you
Yeah.
to have a good character in all spaces. But I'm not gonna skip over the fact that you said you're not really a good friend. We're just not gonna skip over that. So,
I'm not though, but you know what? I'm getting better. Like I did say, and that's just me being honest. I'm I'm honest. I try to be a great friend.
I think you're a great friend. So
I
are you saying that like you're the friend that when you get a man, you disappear? That
No,
you that friend?
because
Okay.
I've already
Okay.
disappeared.
You damn sure did. You sure
So I'm the
you
friend that's
did.
like, I'm the friend that you call like I'm always gonna be there. Like I'm coming to baby showers, birthday
Yeah.
gifts, coming with presents. I'm trying to get better with, and I think one of my friends is on here. Like we have a date on Friday, which
Mm.
I'm really, really excited about because for the first time, I don't have to cancel it. I don't have a speaking engagement somewhere. I don't have, I'm able to just, and I think she just liked the comment too. Like I'm really proud of that because normally things happen and it's like, oh shoot, I gotta cancel them or cancel a reservation. Or so when I
Yeah.
say I'm not a good friend on that, I know I'm not as present as I
Okay.
should, but they're always accessible to me. Like I'm going to come. I'm always, I'm always there, but maybe I'm probably, but I'm not that friend that's like, you get a guy and it's like, we done. Like, no, we just gonna bring them along. So
Yeah.
when I
Those
finally
type
get
of
her
friends
house,
ain't
like,
it.
we're all coming out together. So that
When
goes,
y'all talk about that friendship thing, like when you say something about, I'm sorry, somebody that's always there, that kind of like get me a little bit because I almost like don't trust the person that's always there in a way
That
now,
right.
because that person that's always there, that don't mean they being a friend. It's just sometimes you just a nosy person. You
yes,
Ooh,
just always got to
a
be in the
surveillance
loop
camera.
because you don't want to be the one that missed something.
That
But
Miss,
part.
you the biggest dog. You the one that always like we be like, yo, how my business get out there? And it be the
Mm-hmm.
one you least expect, and it's that one that's always on time, that's always present. They stand after they cleaning up. You need a ride with you in the car. They going grocery
yeah.
shopping for you,
Ain't
store
that
runs,
something?
and they the biggest dog. And so it's kind of like I get shaky with that sometimes. I'm not saying that's you, but I get shaky with that sometimes. That person that's always like,
Oh no,
no, I'm that
Dejanay will
type of
leave
friend.
you. No, she will leave if she's tired, if she's hungry. she, she she ain't. I know that for sure.
So let me
She
ask
ain't that bad.
you, while we're talking about friends and we're getting all perspective of friends, do you guys feel like, so okay, let me say what I'm gonna say first. So like where I gauge my friendships at now, um, not to be spiritual or nothing, but like I look like, okay, so if I'm having a down moment, like can you speak into my future for where I'm going? Like, are you
Mm,
just listening to me vent, or are you like, no girl, dry them tears up. Like you don't have
mm-hmm.
time. Like what did
Mm-hmm.
God promise you? Like, do y'all gauge? Because I really believe like your circle, you're either in a situation longer or you're
Mm-hmm.
able to get out of this, heal quickly, and move forward. So, like, do y'all agree to that? Like, you gauge or do
So
you gauge your friendships on like, well, we've been friends since we were 5? Like, I'm not knocking those friends because I got some of those too, like daycare friends. But when I get
mm-hmm.
friends, I look into like not how you benefit me because I'm not an opportunity. Like, I am the open door. Ooh, that
Mm-hmm.
was like,
Hey, glow my shot.
but I look at it like how can you benefit my future? That's how I look at it. Like, okay, so if I'm calling
Well,
you,
mm-hmm.
what does our call have to do with where I'm going? Because we can't, like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I look at, like, do y'all do the same, or is that just me? Y'all both,
Respectfully, once you get to a certain age, it's really, are you adding or subtracting from my life? That's really
Right.
what it boils down to. And
mm-hmm,
then as far as gauging your friends, every one of your life serves a different purpose. I have a friend that I know I can't talk deep stuff to because they're not there, but I know that they'll get me hype and they won't let me stay down in the situation. So I
mm-hmm,
know to only call them at certain times. I know I have a couple of friends where when I call them, they not trying to hear that pity party stuff, and they're going to speak into my life and tell me to dry my tears. So I know if I want to cry a little bit more, I'm not calling them. I
mm-hmm.
let me go play some Mary J. Blige and wallow in my sorrow if that's what I want to do. You know, however, I do agree with you in regards to having people that are fruitful in your life
Mm-hmm.
because you really your circle does affect your future a lot. You know, when they say if you're around a bunch of broke people, you're definitely just
Bro.
adding to the number. Yeah. So if you have a certain vision for yourself, and that always changes, right?
But
If in this season you're like, you know what, I no longer want to be there, I need to be over there, then you need to start analyzing what's around you And if what's around you doesn't reflect that, then it has to change.
Right.
You know, and I've had friends that I've known for 20 plus years that I realized really never was my friend.
I agree.
They were only connected to me through trauma, or they thought that I was lesser than them, so my life made them feel a little bit better about themselves. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just saying. I'm gonna drop the mic there. I think I said enough, honey.
I do want to say something about that friendship thing. You know, I'm very cautious about, and this is not just me, but you know, I even tell my guys and my people around, you know, be cautious about who you call friends. I even tell my kids that, you know, at an early age, like, yo, you can't just be saying everybody your friend. Because like after a while, if they can stand with you through like the test of time and those exposing stages, and because if and this is just me, if you've never been exposed before, then you wouldn't know what that feels like, because now you want to realize, and now you sit back and be like, yo, well, who is it that's exposing me, or how they get this information? And sometimes that be coming from the people sitting right at the table with you. Yeah. And so I'm very cautious about who I call a friend. And I have a very small circle of people purposely because now if something get out, I know who said it. I know exactly, you know, I'd be like, well, I know how that got out because I only said that to you. I only got 7 people. And so so I'm very cautious. After a while, you become family. And so you deal with family different, because a friend, you can just cuss them out and they could be gone tomorrow. But family is somebody like, after we fight, we cuss, we fuss, tomorrow we get up and we gonna say, let's go to Waffle House. But other than that, like,
matter of fact, I want to eat right now. I don't care. Let's go. I'm hungry.
Let's go grab something to eat. But like, you know, you have to be careful about who you call your friend, especially now in this day and time, because everybody is almost like every man for themselves. And so, you know, if I'm only around you because you can do something that benefits me, and once I get what I need from you, then I don't need you no more. And you can't have that. You want people that's going to be around, that's going to grow with you, you know, from the beginning to the end. And when you get there, if you get there before them, yo, they still your friend, they still your brother, they still your sister.
That's a real friend. So, that's a fact, honey. Because let me tell you right now, these last couple of years of my life were some trying seasons. And I really started to see who really was a friend to me, who wasn't. I gained new friends like Dejanay. And even in actually, I mean, it hasn't been a short amount of time now since I've known you. But even in the time that I've known you, you went through a trial with me and vice versa. And you done left. Okay. You done left town. but our bond never changed, you know. I do think that how a person views or treats friends is definitely how they treat people overall. You know, if you that type of person that's like, well, I don't care if I date her man, or I don't care if I sleep with his girl, or I'm telling they secrets to everybody, you're gonna be just as shady in a relationship.
I agree.
You know, and what you said earlier, Kenneth, you know, in regards to like, it's every man for themselves nowadays, that I really feel like, I mean, we know we in the last days. I'm not trying to get all deep or whatever, but we really are in a time now where like people just don't care, yo.
They don't care.
They just don't care. Like, and you have to explain, in my opinion, is common sense, common like principles of respect and like principle to people. You be like, yo, it's not even like the issue really ain't this big, but the principle is really big, you know. And some people just, you know, so if you are of that caliber, friendship circles are a lot smaller, and you tend to stay more to yourself because you go outside, everybody's in their phones and they're really not concerned. Like, they're not.
But the trust level has died down in our generation. You know, that nobody trusts like anybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? I be sitting at a table with people and I be thinking like, yo, these niggas, can I say niggas? I'm sorry.
You
These
go
people
ahead,
be
because I wanted to say shit, so go right
no,
on.
no. You know, I be sitting there and I be like, you know how you play in your head and you got to be mindful about what you think in your
Let me
head,
not,
because
cause
I'll be thinking like, yo, are y'all texting? You know, are y'all
each
having a conversation?
other.
Yeah, and it gets you sometimes because you
Mm.
just, when you've been scarred in
Mhm.
that regard, like, you know, your trust for people has died down, and it's
I
just
agree.
like it takes a whole lot to regain that trust back. And it don't
Mhm.
matter where you at and what you're doing, you're just gonna always think something. And so
Something
that's
is
why you
going
have,
on.
if that's your crowd of people, if you can't trust your crowd of people, then
You
that
got to
means you
change
need,
them.
yo, change your people. You got to figure out like, yo, at this point, yo, I don't feel comfortable around you all, so it's best that I change
I bounce.
my crowd. Yeah. Now, one or
Mhm.
two options gonna happen from there. Either they're gonna expose you, or they're gonna be loyal, and then you would know like, ah, you was really my guy. You was really my people.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
other than
And I
that,
was just
when,
tripping.
and
I
most people stay in friendships and relationships because they're scared to walk away because of what people gonna say and do. So you're not gonna walk away from another because the only thing, if you stay in it, then you have control over what is being done.
Talk about it.
But
That's
as soon as
true.
you walk away, you don't have no control of
You
what
have
they
no
say and
idea.
do. So you don't
Mm.
know where the mess coming from. So that's why people just
Mm.
destroy themselves.
That's why you have to have discernment.
did I was about to say that next. I
Go
was about
ahead, sis. Go ahead and
I,
say it.
yo, you took that word right out of my like right out. So like do you okay, so let's talk dating. So let's go
Mhm.
here with dating. So do you think that when dating that you have to turn on those discernment like bing 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 bing, or
That's
is it
not
something that's
even
going um let me say this before I say what I'm gonna say. So like I'm a female, right?
are
So
you? I didn't
always
know that.
like you're single. Like date everybody. Date them all. Like you'll find this one and this. So I'm not that person. Like I know my
Mhm.
heart can't handle
Mhm.
dating multiple. Like I can't. Like
Yeah, I
and
can't do that either. I don't even got the patience for
I'm
that.
nowadays. Like
Yeah.
I
We
can't.
got to do one at a
I'm a love.
time. I can't.
But I feel like should I have my discernment on at all time, or are we just going out
Yes,
and we're having fun?
but I know. Because let me tell you something. We meet people all the time. People, God sends people in your life for a blessing. The enemy sends people in your life to take it away. You have to always, the word says, watch as well as pray. You have to. You
Mm-hmm.
have to, because especially if you are dating with intention. If you just dating to have fun, then you don't need discernment, because you're
Just having fun.
you just having fun. But if you don't want your time wasted, you need to make sure that they are not a time filler, a space filler, and they actually are somebody that's worth investing more time into. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because nowadays there's so many people that's wasting time. Let me tell y'all a real quick story, okay, of a time filler. Okay. Now, I'm in Atlanta. I'm one of like 5 people that's straight here. Just gonna be honest. You know, it's very rare, right? you know, and when you finally meet a person that is of the same interest, it's like, okay, that was up. I met this person, and actually I knew them for a little while, but I didn't look at them like that. And not for nothing, I don't. I be in my own world. I'm focused, right? But I started to realize like they had always been flirting with me. I'm like, oh, okay, well, you kind of cute, whatever, right? I finally give this person a time of day. One thing that life has taught me is people that talk a lot usually can't back it up.
I
They
agree.
usually don't have the equipment or whatever it is that they say that they have, because they're overcompensating. They have to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not a words person. I love intellectual conversations, but I'd rather see what you do. Anyway, when I tell you this person was promising everything, oh, we gonna dance in the rain, we gonna go to the mountains, all of the above. And then when it came time to plan stuff, it was mum's the word. It was crickets. And so when I was like, okay, you know what? I don't know, maybe you're used to doing that and people just accept that. I don't know, but I'm okay with that. They was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just, I just got a lot going on right now. And I want to kind of tie that into dating as an entrepreneur. All jokes aside, I don't have time.
It's
I
hard.
I don't have time, but I make time for what's important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's frustrating when you meet somebody that uses the excuse of also being an entrepreneur that they
Mm-hmm.
don't have time. And I'm
Now,
just supposed to be okay with that.
I literally
Bye.
just told somebody today, and then Kenny, you can actually come in and talk about dating as an entrepreneur, however you want to come from. But I literally just told somebody today. We were talking about dating, and they had asked me out, and they was like, I see why you always turn me down, and it's because you're busy. And I had to like never accept that answer from nobody, because
Mm-hmm.
time for what they want to make time for. I can make time to call you whether I'm busy, I'm not busy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
as women, we take that excuse a lot. Like, oh,
Yeah.
he's calling me because he doing this, and it's like, no, like
Yeah.
if they
And
want,
now,
they're going to talk, and it's okay not to, like, being a busy entrepreneur. Like, I'm trying to, balance life.
balance everything, right? Because don't get me
But I
wrong,
still
there are
make time.
times, and don't get me wrong, there are times in certain lifestyles where it's like, yo, my phone is not with me all day, you know, and they have to be understanding. But if that's a constant thing, then it's like, okay, bro. All the time, like all the time. Well, then go talk to yourself then. Bye.
Hate yourself. So Kenny, like, as a man, what is like? So, like, we understand, like, we've called you a pastor, like, we know you're a pastor, y'all. My friend is a pastor. So,
Hey,
like, how is
Pastor.
that dating? Like, that's an entrepreneur, right? So,
Yeah.
is that the same thing, or like how, like, the male perspective, like, is that like
I
literally?
can't imagine being in that position. Lord, please, please don't. I'm
uh,
okay.
I'm gonna call you.
I'm gonna go back to what you. I think one of y'all said about like dating multiple people.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm a.
DJ.
I have always been one. I stand strongly against dating multiple people for a reason, because, yo, after a while, after the hurt, the
Listen,
anger, the abuse, the mental abuse, the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, yo,
Child.
you're literally gonna have nothing to
nothing.
offer
Offer.
the
That's
right person.
true.
And by the time the right person come along that you've been praying and seeking God
You
for,
don't
and
even got it.
yeah, you ain't got nothing to
You
offer. And then if you giving all your
That's
sex,
good.
you're giving all
Hmm.
your sex to a bunch of different people. By the time you get with that right person,
you ain't having.
your sexual desire is not going to be pleasing
Is
to them, because you're going to
yeah.
want to either do what you got to do and go to sleep, or
Mhm.
you're not going to be interested at all. And they're
Yeah.
going to be ready to go like a little energizing bunny, but you done
Right.
exhausted all
All of
yourself
yourself.
with 50 different people.
Yep. And your
And so,
soul is
yeah, and
connected
so
to all,
now
yeah.
it's connected everywhere. And so I stand strongly against dating multiple people. If I'm talking to one person, then I'm talking to one person, and I see where they go. If it don't go nowhere, it just don't go nowhere. Now, as
Hmm.
far as me being a pastor, dating is very difficult, because
Mhm.
first of all, I get people that come to me day and night and saying the Lord sent them. Um,
Good night.
no, look, I have to be cautious about what I say, but people do that, and
Not Jezebel.
people throw themselves, and then and I'd be interested sometime in the people, but then that's just like my interest is totally different than what the church is interested in, because the church looks at
Hmm.
you as a long skirt, stockings, prayer cloth, or a
Mhm.
hat, no makeup,
Right.
no earrings,
Although
no
we might
nose
need to bring the
ring.
prayer cloths back.
you know
We might need
they
to bring
don't
that back.
the church don't like that. They look at you as you can't say nothing out of your mouth. You just got to be a first lady, and I don't do
Mm.
first lady mentality. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
dating for somebody like me at 30 years old with kids, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
that's difficult anyway.
In
um
itself, facts.
it's difficult within itself, so I have to be very cautious about what I bring, because my church is my family. And
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
so if you come here,
And you're a
your
leader.
family. Yeah, and so I have to be very careful. So I would say for me, and I know a lot of a lot of pastors can attest, like, dating is extremely hard and it's dangerous, because you have to also make sure that that person understands who you are,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and not always get angry and be selfish, because as a pastor, you're not yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
don't really have a life of
You're
your own.
serving Everyone else, yeah.
When you are a servant, you are for the people. So that means day and
Mm-hmm.
night, yo, I have to be available for the people that I pastor. You
Yeah.
know, I have to be open. You know, my phone is on do not disturb, but I have
I don't
calls
want it,
that,
Lord.
you know, calls that come through, and I got to make sure that I can get up. And if you're dating
Mm.
somebody that's insecure, then it's going to be a problem when you got to answer a phone at 3:00 in the morning and she questioning you, who is that?
Right.
Or when you can't just open your cell phone in front of them and they ask you who you texting or always going through your phone while you sleep.
Not gonna be able to do it.
Because if you're a pastor, your people want
Are
to
always
trust you.
Yeah.
They want to be able
And
to
they
say that I
trust you
can
with
trust
their
my leader.
issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to protect them. And so there's a big danger in dating somebody that's insecure. There's a big danger in dating somebody that was already abused by their previous relationship, and then they come to you. You already healed, but then they come to you and they cast their burdens and their cares on you. And now you see yourself going into a sunken place, and that's just like, yo, I'd rather just be by myself than to sit here and have to deal with this mess day in and day out. And so when they talk about that being equally yoked, you got to make sure you find somebody that understands you and understands who you are in ministry.
Yeah.
If they don't respect you, then they can't be with you.
They can't be.
But that's across the board. Like I feel like not just your perspective as a pastor. I know even with me, like building a business, building something that I see long term.
Yeah.
I have to be careful too of, you know, who you link up with, because it's like I'm gonna drag my business down. Am I gonna lose focus? Am I gonna get distracted?
Let's talk about it.
You don't understand my grind, because
somebody said say it from a man, not a pastor's point of view. I can say it from a man's point of view.
Not say it with your chest, because that's pretty much what they say.
Come on, bro.
I say it from a man's point of view.
Come on,
dating for me is difficult anyway, because and I had this conversation before on the profile that we have put on a man. Like she said, if you're not 6'5", you ain't got a big Johnson, you don't work a 9 to 5, you don't have a BMW, you don't have your own crib or business, then you're just not my caliber of a man. And so for us regular men that, you know, and I'm not gonna throw my business out, but it's hard anyway for a man to just date, you know, for a man to just, you know, find interest in a woman. Like you got to go through great leaps and bounds just to introduce yourself to a female, because social media has ruined dating. Now we're not talking about church, right? So we're talking about social media. So women that dream according to social media now. And I'm the only guy on here. Okay, so not y'all.
We don't. But you're right though.
Even some men do that. They be like, yo, I would love a relationship like that. And so because I'm a man, I'm gonna come from this point of view of I've been, you know, in the company of women or talked to females that have sent me pictures of another couple and was like, why can't we be like this? My God.
Bye, ma'am. God bless.
There's no way we're gonna be like that. First of all, you don't know the struggle and the wear and tear that he or she have to go through to keep up that mentality.
Even keep that up.
Yeah, to keep that up. And they gotta throw people off of them every day. Their household is probably set up differently where they can do something like this. And then you got to promote her every day just to keep the women off you, and they still not off you because people idolize that. And if I'm always posting my girl, people are going to find interest in that. They're going to be like, I want something like that.
I want that. And then they automatically assume, and then you know what's funny? People automatically assume that just because you're treating that person that way, they can come in and you're going to treat them that way. I do not understand that, you know, but
you can't treat nobody the same in a relationship.
No. And you know what? I'm glad that you brought up the aspect of healing. And I even wanted to take a step back. People's perspective about what dating actually is differs between each person, because just because I'm dating this person don't mean I'm sleeping with this person.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And then the version me now, I can't date anyone that is not either on their journey of healing their issues or healed. And to be honest, I can't say anyone is fully healed, because healing is an ongoing journey.
Yes, it is.
I'm learning more and more. Like the more stuff I uncover, the more stuff pops up like surprise, surprise, you know, and it's really an ongoing thing. I've learned once you allow someone who does not take accountability for what they've contributed, because all relationships is the same. If you're the victim in all of your stories, I'm good. Please go away. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't learned nothing, and you about to try to make me victim number 38. We not about to do that today. Okay. You feel what I'm saying? I realize I can't even get to the dating stage nowadays because people don't know how to communicate.
And people be looking for a way out. If they see like, and that's why I say like social media can be a dangerous tool, because if you always portraying on social media that you this healed and you this whole person and you got it all together, and somebody that's broken feel like, yo, they can save me, and then you come to find out that it ain't that, you know, that's a dangerous thing, because when you talk about, you got to come to somebody already healed or in that process. Because now y'all gonna be two messed up people, and y'all just gonna be destroying each other.
Exactly. Because don't get me wrong, all of us have some things that we need to work on. Like all of us got we all got baggage in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I refuse to allow someone who acts like they don't have baggage, okay, to come up in my life. Sir, good night. We both about to check these bags in and pay the price. And if not, please move out the way. I don't have the energy no more, because like you said, people become emotional vampires. Well, you didn't say that, but they come into your life and expect you to save them. I call them emotional vampires, you know, and it can be emotional, physical, financial, whatever, but they become vampires because when you have a light and you get to a certain point, people who are not there, they pull from that. They come to pull from you, and you end up more broken than them. If you know what I'm saying? Then of course social media allows people to think that they have more options and time than what they really do. Then you got people sliding in your DMs real confident when they really shouldn't be. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that, you know. And then you got the people that text you WYD all day. It's hard out here.
It is hard,
you know.
It really is out here for real.
It's hard.
And I know, I was talking to Sabria about this earlier. Not just am I like an entrepreneur, but like I'm a real church girl for real. So it's like, how do you like tell somebody like, okay, so you're in my DM? I don't want to do that. Like I can't have those.
But what's wrong with church girl, church boy, saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled? What's wrong with people being in your DMs?
Like, no. It's nothing wrong with them being in your DMs. It is the point of like, I feel like now it's like, send me this picture. Let's do this. Let's do that. Okay. So I can't lower.
You're
like
talking something different when you talk about send me pictures or do all that stuff.
Send me pictures, or what is this, or you know, your undergarments and things like that. And it's like, I personally can't send you that because I don't believe
you're a woman of God. You're a woman of God, so when you're a woman of God, you can't do stuff like that. But no, seriously, like, if there's no other tool to interact with the particular person, I get the whole like, don't be asking me about this or send me a picture about this. Like, yeah, I get that. You know what I'm saying? Straight out the gate, don't do that. But you know, we beat people up for sliding in our DMs or whatever on Instagram, Snap. But how else is a person gonna communicate with you or find interest in you or get to know you if they don't utilize their social media tool?
That's the only way.
You know, and I see it so much on social media, and it bothers me, you know, that people are so angry because somebody has slid in their DMs. Or now, if you married and you slide in somebody's single DMs, like, we get that, like, you can deal with that, like, or if you just you know what I'm saying, you that person, I don't want to say nothing, no crazy stuff, then I get that. But if you just a single man sliding in a single female DM and it can potentially go somewhere, then enjoy the moment, because you could really be missing what's for you.
That is true.
Waiting for somebody else to slide in. And I always say this, like, some people miss their husband or their wives because they ignore the DM. And now people are long gone and you sitting back and wishing like, dang, dog, I should have like responded.
Let me pull
Yeah,
up.
like no, for real, because
Ain't
it be like
nobody
that.
potential slid in my DMs, child.
Let me check my
Man,
They
see,
scared
y'all,
of me.
nah, I ain't even gonna go there. I would
They
be
scared
scared
of me.
too, man. But look, you
It's
gotta have those
weird.
honest conversations up front. Like, you know what I'm saying? We grown people now. When we was kids, yo, we'll just be like, we wouldn't know what to say. But now it's we at a place now, yo, we can be honest and say what we want. And it's either you gonna like it or you're not. Like, I want to tell you straight up, like, yo, this is who I am and this is what I want. If you want a productive or you want a healthy relationship with me, then you're gonna have to take my honesty. I'm not gonna be rude, but I'm gonna tell you straight up things that I'm not gonna put up with and I'm not gonna do, because I'm at that place where I'm ready to like settle down or I just want to be happy. And if you're not gonna make me happy, if you're gonna make me bitter, always angry, like I always gotta like take a deep breath every time you get in the car or you come in my space, my nigga, I don't need you around.
I don't need that. I'm good.
And so you want to make sure that you have that honest conversation, like straight up. Like if you addicted to sex, yo, tell that
Just
person
say
that
that.
you addicted to sex. And it's either one or two things. Either they're gonna add to your addiction or they're gonna help you recover from your addiction. Because if they're not getting sex from you, then you're gonna have to help them, because then they're gonna be getting sex from 15, 16 different people.
Y'all can hear me.
You gotta
right?
help them. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
So let's talk about this. So since we're talking about dating, and so how do you guys protect yourself in dating? Protect your mental.
Oh my God.
Besides community, like, is there anything that you guys, anything that you protect yourself? And I'll probably answer this last.
It's crazy that you asked that, because I was just thinking about the last like real dating experience that I had, that even in that it ended differently. So I know I jumped out, that was nothing but the devil. Girl, why my signal said SOS? I said, I bind you in the name of Jesus. So anyway, I had met this person last year, and I'm gonna just try to be as vague as possible because they might be watching live. So I met this person last year, right? I wasn't checking for nobody. Okay? I'm doing my business. You know what I'm saying? This person kept up with me in conversation, and eventually it led to the FaceTimes or whatever. And they literally showed up, and it felt like they went to my prayer closet and told me every single prayer that I sent up to God. So when he was talking to me, I was like, Lord, this your boy? Is this your boy? Because you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I heard him say, yeah. So I was like, okay, let's go all the way in. I'm talking about, old boy was like, I'm good. I'm ready to settle. I want a family. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And this fool, okay, come to find out, I found out that he was dealing with a client of his and told me that that's not who he wanted. When he met me, he realized like I'm the one he prayed for. So I said, okay, listen, I wasn't born yesterday. You had a life before me. Just go fix it. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Whatever. I get it. It's cool. Just go fix it. Not only did that person still choose to lie, but they still chose to invest more time in trying to counteract that other situation rather than investing time with me. Okay. Flashback, fast forward now a year later, this individual comes around now like, hey, I'm sorry, I took a L, took such a major loss. And I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with that? I had a person, at least what I thought. Like I said, at that time, I had the ideal situation. Everything I prayed for was right in front of me. Everything that person prayed for was right in front of them, and they still chose something else. So I said all of that to say, the only protection in dating is making sure that your discernment is top tier and making sure that you have a checklist of your non-negotiables that you won't budge. You know what I'm saying? One of my non-negotiables is you have to believe in Jesus Christ. I don't want to hear that you spiritual and you meditate. You can meditate and still believe in Jesus. But baby, who you praying to? I'm not playing with you. You're not about to bring these extra spirits in here. You know what I'm saying? Because now I deal with enough warfare. I realize what has kept me from dealing with a lot of mess is knowing what I want.
I agree.
And the list does change. It does change. It's constantly changing because when you meet someone and do something, you be like, "Ooh, I don't got that on the list. Let me write that down." You know what I'm saying? So I think that those are the only ways to protect yourself, because honestly, we meet great people, we meet crappy people, we meet people that ain't worth our time.
Amen.
We all have our free will to make whatever choices that we choose. Just because you met the perfect person don't mean the perfect person is ready for you at that time, or they are even in the place to make the right decision. So you can't protect yourself from that.
Right.
There's no, you know what I mean? So the only way is to have discernment, because you know your spirit will let you know, like, you know what, this is a little, you might want to double back a little bit because it's not going to benefit you, or whatever the case may be. And then go back to your list. Yo, is this, did this person do X, Y, and Z? You know, and make sure your list is realistic. I'm not talking about the 6'5" and the 6-pack, even though you got a no pack. Cause I got a fupa, honey.
I
I'm
got
fine.
no pack.
Belly,
Take
honey.
this stomach.
You gonna take this fupa and love it, okay? So it has to be realistic. So that's my input. God bless.
You said something about I'm not going against what you said, but about, you know, those needs and stuff. And I did this thing a while ago of my needs and my wants, because those needs are like considered something very important. They're not gonna really change something that you need, you know, but when you want something, yo, you can change what you want. Like, yo, I want McDonald's, and then 5 minutes, no, I want Wendy's.
Well, Wendy's.
But I really need a salad, you know. I really need a salad. And so I've learned to not put down like all these certain things that I want in a relationship versus, yo, what I really need to make me a better man. Because first of all, I'm no good for you if you're no good for me. And so I need certain things that will make me a better man, so that I can be whatever it is that you are desiring me to be for your life. And so I have standards, and I'm not lowering my standards. And that's one thing I used to do. I used to lower my standards for people. And I tell people that I talk to all the time, like, yo, at this point, don't lower your standards. You know, if they don't fit that, then just, yo, bump it. I know they pretty, they got a nice shape, but yo, that just ain't it. And after a while, all that's up, my dad used to tell me, it's gonna fall down one day. You're gonna be flipping them James up. So you need to make sure that you're not going for looks and beauty. Like, yo, she could be cute and all that stuff, but she can have the ugliest, nastiest personality, and she can open up her mouth and be the worst person in the room.
I agree.
But you got to make sure that your standards are settled. Like, you know exactly who you are. And when you know exactly who you are, you're not just going to take anything. And then you got to make sure that you're secure. Because if you got insecurities of your own, then you're going to float from every room to room, every bed to bed, every house to house, because you don't know who you are. And so now you're seeking for validation from everybody. And most men, and I know the brother's going to chew me up about this, most men that don't know who they are only win in the bed. Because that's the only accountability that you have. That's the only thing. But I know I'm good in the bed, but you horrible. You don't have a job. And so, you know, I learned from my dad, like, don't be no king in the bed, but then you're a horrible man. You can't pay bills. You don't wash clothes. You know what I'm saying? You don't take vitamins. You're not healthy. You're sitting there with cancer in your body. And so it's just like, you got to take care of yourself first before you can start suggesting things for other people or start giving all this stuff. And that's like one thing I learned. So I make sure my standards, they're not extremely high, but when you have standards, it puts you in a different category.
It do.
You're not going to just accept anything. That means That means your viewpoint on men, your viewpoint on women is different because you're not going to go, and we talked about this, you're not going to go to a bar and try to find a husband. I'm not against that. But
although you can, but you ain't going in there thinking that your husband's in there. No.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's going to take you a while because then you're going to feel like, I don't even want to get into that, but you're going to make sure that you're in the right place. Like, I found, like, what? I found my wife in the club. Doing what? You know, you don't want that storyline to tell somebody, like, we built, and then when something happens, she back in the club. No, I'm not against any of that, but I'm just saying, when you have standards, your viewpoint on who it is that you want in your life is totally different. That means your focus point, like that young lady walking down the street with a briefcase, that's who God is telling me to go talk to. And then you'll know, like, standards and needs is kind of like what I have, standards and needs.
I'll answer mine last. I think you just got a question, Kenny. I'll answer after you answer this question. They said, have you ever went against your standards because everyone 80%? What? Because everything else on some 80%.
Have you ever went against your standard because they had everything else?
Oh, okay. I'm
because
like,
everything, pretty much everyone else is on some 80%. But I'd rather have the 80 than the 20, honey. But no, that was for you. I guess that was for you.
I've went against my standards a couple of times and I lost, and I failed. It was horrible. You know, I'm not with that 50 and 50 stuff, or you know, like, hey yo, we coming to this table 100% together. You know what I'm saying? I need to know what I'm getting myself into, to the point where I'm asking about your family. I'm asking about, you know, you don't have to tell me about past relationships. And I would tell anybody that I do not care about who you dated or talked to before me, as long as you ain't got no diseases that I need to be aware of, or you ain't got nobody crazy that's stalking your house and I got to square up and fight in the middle of the church. Like, other than that, I don't care. Your past has absolutely nothing to do with me. And this is where we lose that in dating, because we are so stuck on, I need to know who you used to mess with. No, you don't, bro. I don't care. I literally don't care unless that Jane is really going to be like, unless you were dating my blood brother, yo, I don't care who you were dating before me. You know what I'm saying?
Dating a mafia, if you were dating someone in the mafia, I need to know that.
Yeah, okay, all right, we get all that. But like, if it's not like a life or death situation, yo, I don't care. And so when you have those standards, it's very bad. Okay, thank you, baby. I'll charge you. You know, when you have those standards.
Like somebody said, bloodline, respectfully, to know what generational curses do you have in your family?
Let's be honest.
No, that bloodline check ain't no joke. Like, diseases, you need to know, like cancer. I'll tell you straight up, you know, cancer runs in my bloodline. You know, you got to tell people straight up. You can't be scared, like high blood pressure, low blood pressure, like insecurities, anxiety. You know, that stuff like that, yo, that's major. My mama had anxiety. My daddy had anxiety. Yo.
Listen, that's real.
No, that's facts.
And it's a conversation that has to be had.
I don't know how many bodies you have. We good on that. I need to know if you're... No? Okay.
I agree with that. I don't even care, you know. If we could buy a house with all of that, I don't... You know, because that is a question, and we did that in middle school. How many bodies? Like, yo, we don't need to know how many people, like, because we can almost buy a car with that level, but we don't want to know about that stuff because it's not important, especially when you get of age and you know for a fact you know what you want and you're ready to have a family, you're ready to move on, you want to explore the world. Yo, I'm not going to sit there and ask you, yo, how many people you slept with? I'm not going to sit there and ask you how many people you know what I'm saying. Now, and we walk in a room and everybody looking around was like, yo, he talking to her? Then I'm gonna question you a little bit in the back and be like, yo, why everybody know who you are?
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Because baby, when I come outside, honey, I be coming outside, okay? Right. I sit outside now. And people be like, oh,
I'm outside like that, but when I'm outside, I'm outside.
Baby, I'm outside.
But I'm outside though, but when I'm outside.
Well, y'all need to sit under the shade just a little bit. Don't be too far outside.
Matter of fact, I'm back in the house. Not outside.
Like when I show up and I step out of a car, you notice that I'm stepped out the car. So if people saying that, now I guess you got to distinguish where it's coming from when they say
That topic starts arguments, which is a true fact.
yeah.
That topic starts argument, and that's why I
Yeah.
don't get down with that. Now, let's talk about main stuff like how is your credit? You know, there's a conversation. You know, if you can fix your credit with the amount of bodies that you had, then we can talk. But how is your credit? But we don't have those conversations, and I think that's why dating in our day and time is trash because people are looking at the wrong things. You know, I got kids, and so I gotta be careful about who I'll bring in my life because y'all can hear my kids right now. They're wilding out there, and so you know, I have to make sure that I have to make sure whoever I bring in my life can respect the fact that I have kids and my kids have moms. So you know that goes a long way, and that's a conversation that needs to be had at the beginning. Like you don't wait that out 6 or 7 months after sleeping around with that person and introduce them to your kids. Like, yo, the first week we talking, yo, I just wanted you to know, though, I got kids. How many kids you got? I got a certain amount of kids, and they are in my life, and I love them. And I respect their mothers, and their mothers respect me. And that's a conversation that a man needs to have with a female because communication is what builds your relationship. And if you don't have good communication, don't try to communicate that after you get caught up because you done messed up.
No,
you got to communicate that in the beginning.
Prepare. You know, all jokes aside, and I think I just said this to you. What I don't understand, and I know that it's not all men, so I really can't say that, but I find this to be a common issue with men these days is not understanding that had you have communicated from the beginning, you wouldn't have to repair.
I agree.
From the time that you get caught up to the beginning, because once you get caught in something, you now have to actually double back and go all the way back to when it started. If you and I mean, I can't speak for all women, but me in particular, I'm pretty understanding. If you keep it a buck with me, you give me the option to say, okay, we can figure this out, or this is not figure outable. You know what I mean? And not for nothing, we're supposed to be a team, whether we just meet or we're looking longevity. I got to know that we can work together from day one. Because why would I invest in you? Because there's gonna come things. There's gonna come times where we got to problem solve together, you know. And communication is so. Everybody needs time to communicate.
It's not just, and I know that I failed at that previously because I was one that was like, well, I don't want to say this because I don't want to hurt their feelings, and then you be the one like hurt because you're not communicating what you like, what you don't like. Now it's like, I don't like it.
Bottling it up inside and
well, I'm gonna tell you straight up what I don't like. I'm gonna be like, nah, I don't like that. And if you're gonna sit there and not talk to me, you got an attitude, we're not going to this restaurant until we figure out why you got an attitude. And, you know, and because that helps me and that helps the particular person better themselves. And if you don't talk about, you can't, we at that place now when you can't just let stuff just linger for months and months because it's more damaging than it was from the beginning. It wasn't that big in the beginning, but now we done made it a big deal because we done went weeks and weeks without communicating about the fact that I opened the bag of chips before you. You know, that's a thing.
Like, why would you do that?
That thing hit her for real. She got mad about them chips. Like, you gotta come, but it's simple. But the smallest things is what ruins a relationship. That ruins a friendship. It's the small thing. Like, you was mad at me about that, but because we didn't communicate it, guess what? It lingered and it built a case, and now we can't fix it.
That's what happened with the situation that I just was explaining. Like, if homeboy had just said to me, like, yo, I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, I had a situation on the side. It's an open door. I prefer to be with you, but this is the open door. I'd be like, cool. Holla at me
when you get done.
I want to be with you just as much as I think you want to be with me. Had that have been the conversation, we'd have been Gucci. But homeboy was like, no, I don't even like her. No, I was only there for 5 minutes. Nigga, I seen a plate of food and wine glass. If you don't go ahead somewhere, if you don't cut it.
So let me ask y'all this. and I never.
What be going on in Atlanta?
Yo,
So you had these
because I'm
experiences.
tired. These people here are strong jet.
Listen.
Okay, that means
Oh, so y'all had these
I be praying for y'all.
experiences, like if the person is worthy of a try or not. Like you had these bad experiences. How do you know? Like, okay, maybe I'll give that wasn't too bad. Like maybe I'll give them another try. Maybe we can do this again. Like, what is your
from experience. Anyone that does not just abandon the situation and tries to fix it within a reasonable amount of time is worth investing in. People that just abort mission and then trying to show up months later, sir, what is your name?
who?
Cause I didn't. Once you allow a woman, and I can't speak from for a man, but a woman's process. When we first go through something, we are in it. We are in our feelings. We are feeling it.
I agree.
Wow. You got to catch us while we in that space, because once we get to the point where, as we go through our feelings, then at least speaking for myself, I go through my feelings, then I go through anger, and it's not even mad at them. It's more so mad at me for allowing myself to be in this situation. I go through that anger, then I start to enter into accepting whatever it is, whatever you've allowed for me to believe. Because if you don't like come and like, fix a lie or something, whatever it is what it is now. At this point, I accept it, and then I start going through my healing process. You let a woman get to that point where she accepts it, ooh.
Yo, it's crazy. I used to lie real bad. I didn't know no better. But then I realized, no, for real, I realized something, because sometimes you take on what's around you. So I adapted to what was around me because I hung around liars, right?
Yeah.
And so I used to lie because I didn't know like how to communicate sometimes. And so I realized
what you thought they wanted you to do.
Yeah, yo. And I used to say like what I thought was good versus the truth. And then I realized I had to say another lie to fix the last lie that I told. And then I just built a whole legacy of lying. I used to lie every day. And it's like, yo, I'm not doing it. So now I tell the truth, and don't nobody want to even listen to me. Like,
no.
They be like,
no.
So you got to tell the truth. And it might hurt them a little bit, yo, but just be honest with them. Like, yo, this is a fact. Because one lie, you got to pick up another lie. And then by the time you really get down to being honest, yo, that person gone, they hurt. And I said this before, once a female check out, that's it, yo. If you ain't straight up, and this is the thing that I deal with men, like I tell my guys, like, yo, just be honest with them.
Just be real.
They might not like it right now, but they'll come around to it if you just be open. Like, tell them what's up. Dude. Because if you don't say nothing, then they'll never know. And when a female checks out, yo,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap, and you're not gonna get no play. You're not gonna get no food. Your food gonna be nasty. It's not gonna be seasoned well. You're not gonna have no ice in your drink. When they go out, they're not gonna give you what you want when you go out, and people pick up vibes. And so if they checked out, but they still, they still present, but they checked out mentally, that's a whole nother ball game. And when men check out, now this is another thing. When men check out, it's automatically that man cheating. That's not always the case. Sometimes, we just not there. We just checked out because we're not getting the proper respect. You don't really ask me how I'm doing, okay. And that's the thing. Like when men check out, it's just like, this is when cheating comes in play, because somebody is doing your job, making that man feel like a man, telling him that, yo, you look good, even though he just got off work. Telling him he smelled good, cooking for him, all that stuff. I ain't talking about washing clothes. I'm just talking about making him feel good about himself. Making him know who he is. And when you don't make him to know who he is, there's gonna be some little thing at his job or at McDonald's that's gonna smile in his face and now he gonna go to McDonald's every day. And you trying to figure out, my nigga, you don't even eat McDonald's.
Right?
Why you always at McDonald's? But guess what? Because now somebody have accepted him for who he is. And that's a danger in that too, because we are supposed to help each other grow and become better human beings. But if you're going to let me stay who I am, then all right, cool. We can talk about that. but I'm going to McDonald's because this girl at the window, she told me that my smile or I look good, and she made my drink just right. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
But if he's not getting that at home, and it's, or sometimes a man just mentally checks out because he just got something internal that he's dealing with that he can't share with you because you haven't created that space for him to be vulnerable. And he ain't cheating. You know, he ain't going to, he might be going to the gym, he might be going to the basketball court, but a man literally just wants to be vulnerable with his girl, with his wife, his spouse, and something from his past, something from his childhood is a trigger. It could be messing him up. But when you don't create that space, my nigga, I can't talk to you. I can't tell you about what's really going on. And so now I'm going to go somewhere else to compensate what I can't do. So that's why they always in the gym. They extreme. They working out hard. You don't need to get no more stronger, bro. You know, you don't need nothing else. But I'm going to the gym because I have something in me that I got to get out. Or I'm always at the park. Or for us pastors, we are always at church. And the only outlet we have is preaching and playing our instruments and sitting in our office for 5 and 6 hours just looking at the wall, because that's our only outlet. But if there's no safety in your house, then I'm not going to be at home. It's just a danger.
I'm glad that you said that. Hold on, DJ. I think that he should keep going. Here's the thing. We have so many platforms where women are more vocal about what we need. There's not enough spaces for men to be honest and open about what it is that they need, and makes them stay, check out, etc. So I think that you should.
Because I'm learning.
Go ahead. We listening. Let me.
No, for real. It is. No, that's literally all it is, and you know, and that plays on your mental. Men could really be going through something traumatic, which messes up their sex drives, which messes up, you know, how they function. And it ain't that he ain't attracted to you. It's just the fact that he don't have nothing to give you. Because if sex is a mental thing for women, and it's I gotta get that connection. Yeah. We're not connected then because you know, we don't communicate, we don't have that dialogue. And for guys, you know, we don't have a safe place to talk, because if I come to you and I just want to lay on your shoulder and I want to cry, yo, I'm soft. Now you calling me gay because I want to be able to express myself to that point where I can say, yo, babe, I had a rough day.
Right.
Now I come in the house and I gotta hear all your mess all day, and then you fussing at me. Like it's one-sided, and that's the danger of dating now. That's the danger of why men don't want to deal with women, because it has become one-sided where it's all about her. You got to meet all the needs of her. You got to do everything for her and what she wants. But now when it comes down to me, it's let's get back to that. Or can we hurry up? Or the body language ain't right. Or the facial expressions. And so now men just rather shut their mouth, because that's what we was taught, to put on your big boy drawers and shut your mouth and go to work, versus being vulnerable and telling your wife, baby, I'm not happy right now. You know, I'm just not happy. And it don't have nothing to do with you. I'm just not happy. But at this point, this is when I need you to be a wife. You know, be that person to help me come out of that broken place. You know, and if now we talking about dating, all right, cool. You know, we can work that out. But if a man don't have no safe place, no space in his own household to vent and to talk, then don't expect that man to stay around any longer. You know, somebody's gonna pick him up, or he's just gonna dismiss himself, and then he gonna be for the streets. Because the streets gonna make you feel good. The club's gonna make you feel good. Going to the club, swiping that card all night. Tomorrow you gonna hurt because that ain't the negative. But you done did your job because they made you feel good. They accepted you. And if you're not accepted in your own house, then you have nothing to look forward to, and your future is poor. Like it's just not it. So I think at this point, like for dating and women, y'all can take this how you want. Create that space for your man to be, to be soft. He can be hard. He gonna protect you regardless, because he loves you. And if you love somebody, then you protect them. But create that space that when we get behind closed doors, I want to be soft. Like I want to be able to just, be myself. And if I can't be myself, then I don't want to be anything for you. If I just can't be me.
Question is, how does she do that? And that differs with different men, right? But
Yeah.
Speaking from a man's perspective, how does the woman create
In the dating process? Now
yeah,
you date. How
yeah,
is she creating?
I'm
yeah.
not gonna say this in not a rude way. Sometimes, yo, just shut up and listen, yo. Just be that 80% that day. 80% listening, 20% talking. Just be that. Be that for a while. Sometimes you'll just be like, today, I just want to know, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't need you to do this for me. Today, I just want to make sure, I want to please you today. I want to do whatever I got to do for you, you know, and I don't even want to get on that conditional sex thing because sex is conditional. It's not unconditional. And so that also plays on a man's mind too, because when a female withhold certain things from him in a marriage, or I mean, dating you can withhold, but in a marriage you can't really withhold sex.
Right.
So we're not gonna talk about that. We talk about that at the bar. But
Yeah.
I think in all in all, yo, just be open and listen to what he had to say, even if you don't understand in that moment. Yo, write that joint down and find a way to get back to it. Be like, yo, you said something last month. Now you saying like you said something last month. That makes a man feel good because now you understand me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when a man don't feel understood, then you have that dude is out there. You know, so write that joint down like you said something last month, and I want to get back to it. I want to know how you feel about it. Let's have a conversation about it. But if every conversation turned back to being about you, yo, I'm gonna shut my mouth. If everything turns into an argument and you become a selfish person, I'm gonna shut my mouth and I'm gonna just sit there and just let you talk because it ain't never been about me.
That's
so you gotta be in that place where you can just be like, yo, sometimes, yo, just don't say nothing. Just listen to him talk. Just be there.
And I will definitely say when a man shut down, he shut down.
He shut down.
Yeah.
They're not able to, we're able to like open back up in the right circumstance. Once a man thinks that or understands that this is not the place for him, it's over. It's hard to get it back to or whatever. It's I've been that person in my life at one point in my life. So I do know that. And I've always had guy friends. So I've always had people to tell me like, nah, you bugging. You know what I'm saying? And you need that. And I'm
because females, I think we internalize it all. So like you're quiet, we don't take it as like you're going through your personal. That's the last thing. Not saying that you guys are not thought about first, because I think in a relationship, you know, with a female, it's like we spouse, like we want to make you happy. So when you shut down, we don't think that you're shut down because of your personal. We automatically assume that it's us. So that's what the nagging comes from. Like, well, what did we do? What did I do?
Right.
Did I send you a text message? Did I, you know?
And sometimes, yo, it don't even be y'all. It could just be like,
it could be life.
Yo, that dude hairline could be receding, and he's hurt because he know one day he's gonna have to be bald. Don't no man want to go to the barbershop and that man take their hairline back. I'm being funny, but that's serious business.
But
you know, and sometimes just shutting down could be like, you know, I feel like I should be in a much better place than what I am now. And for a man that has been working hard, but they still in that same spot, after a while, yo, and you see everybody progressing before you, and you see your peers moving up ahead, and you just still trying to figure out why I'm so stagnant, you know, that's a whole nother thing too, as to a guy just feeling hopeless.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a man anyway. You know, y'all can go out there and get a job. Both of y'all can go out there tomorrow and get y'all a job. Like it ain't nothing. A secretary job, an office job, a nursing job, whatever you name it. But for us, so we got to go through 20 different interviews just to get a job. And we don't think about stuff like that when it come down to a man, because I don't know why men were raised differently than women, you know, and that, you know, my dad raised me differently than how he raised my sisters. And so there are things that I'd be like, yo, dad didn't tell you that? And then they'd be like, no, you know, but my dad never taught me how to cry. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to cry through trial and error.
These are trauma response that has been taught a long time.
Absolutely.
Through our people, unfortunately.
Why am I feeling emotional over here?
You shouldn't.
That's
about to cry.
Because I feel like for so long, like you be trying to figure it out. Like I know I'm an overthinker. Like Period.
Yeah, I think too. You see my
care a lot.
it's
But
big.
man's perspective is like, okay, like
You
not
have-
that you have feelings too, because we know that you have feelings. We know that you guys go through, but like to know that, like, to me, honestly, I thought about something like, dang, I could have probably been there more, or I could have listened more, or and not saying that things is not selfish about me, because I feel like I'm not a selfish individual. And back to what we talked about in the beginning, like dating, you make time for what you want. But I'm really emotional. I feel like I've mishandled, like,
give yourself grace.
shouldn't have mishandled.
Every situation happens, and
And
you
I'm
have
It's a learning curve. Like you learn from everything.
have to
Like
you have to understand that you have to mess up in order to know that is something you should not do. Like it's a process in all things. I've definitely been the toxic person in my life. In my early 20s, bye. And I had a flat stomach. You can tell me nothing. Okay?
I know I was toxic, so
Baby, toxic.
God for
And you
I think everybody was toxic at one point in their life. Like we were some dangerous people, yo.
Okay, but I'm also say this. I also was toxic because of the generational curses in my family. Right. It was a different type of toxic that I had to unlearn. I had to go through my own falls and stumbling blocks. I had to mess up with great people for me to learn, like, I need to do better.
Yes.
You have to. You just have to. So give yourself grace. Give yourself grace and understand that it is all a part of the process.
And give the other person grace too,
Yes.
You can't be so hard. I had to change, like, sometimes your expectation, like, I be expecting so much from certain people, and then I get very little, and guess what? Now I'm disappointed. And when you become disappointed, it's like, I'm not going through that again. So you have to, like, give grace to them. Like, it's still a learning curve. And that's why I look at every relationship or friendship in a way of, I'm going to learn something from this one. Even if I learn something for myself, or I make sure that I don't fall into the hands of another person just like that, And even for yourself, you're going to learn something too about yourself. And I feel like if you are in a relationship, or if you've been in a relationship or a friendship, and you didn't learn nothing about yourself, then it was definitely a waste of time. But I feel like I've learned something in every freaking relationship or friendship I've been in.
Too.
And sometimes I learned. Yeah.
I want to say this also, because I feel like you articulated your feelings and what you wanted, and just spoke from a man's perspective well, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are people that are able to do that. Those people leave they behind where they at.
Mm-hmm.
And hear me well, because I've taken on this role before too, is trying to help a person learn how to.
This is not Build-A-Bear.
Yo, I'm not doing that. Listen, because I feel like I said about, like, well, what, like, what if he's unable to, if he can't articulate his emotions, leave him alone, please, sis. Let somebody else deal with that, because I'm telling you now, what's going to end up happening is you will become the reason why, or one of the many reasons why he is the way that he is. People that are not able to express, it's usually because they haven't taken accountability first. You have to first understand what role you play in order to start healing. You have to, like, it's like a must, right? You literally have to look at yourself in the mirror like, oh snap, I am reactional. And I've done this myself. Yeah, I used to be mad reactional. Like, somebody would say something, I'd be like, what? And it didn't get me nowhere. I had to learn that, it starts with me. Anybody, and that goes for women as well. You come across a divisive woman, a woman that is just unable to tell you how she feels. She just reacts and want to throw chairs. Please leave her alone. Let her figure that out. Let him figure that out, because what's going to end up happening is you are going to end up being traumatized, trying to help them deal with their trauma.
Or create space for them to vent for that. And if you create space and they can't articulate, Like
Yeah,
almost like, yo, get that man a book and let him write down. If he can't say it out his mouth,
that's
bro,
good.
write that thing down or send me an email. Like I did that before. Like I wasn't at a place. My dad never taught me how to communicate. You know, my household, I love my family. I don't talk about them like that. But we wasn't really like people that could communicate well. We didn't communicate our feelings, and we still don't at times. But I learned, you know, through counseling. Yo, I used to just send an email. You know,
Mm,
I would vent via email, and I would express, and I would open up by saying, you know, I hope you just take this in love,
yeah.
and just tell them how you feel. Now, if things travel from there, and then we gotta throw chairs, then leave me alone because you know I might flip a table or two. You know what I'm saying? If I get too angry, then I might just wild out a little bit. But you know, I've been praying that God deal with my anger, so you gotta be mindful of that stuff. But
Yeah.
for real, like I agree with that. You know, if you can't articulate, you can't just
Gotta
say how you feel. Yo, express that Jane through a note.
So I feel like with me, so I don't think I have like I'm not an angry person. So I never was that one in relationship. I don't think I have like that anger.
No, you're not.
I
But you
think that's
lied.
my problem. My problem was like I'm just so nice and loving that I would skip those things. But what I did realize that wasn't healthy. And one of the things that I'm learning in the healing process of like me really knowing like, okay, Dejanay, you're healthy enough, mentally enough to date now, is that you're going to meet who you are.
Talk
So
about
if mentally I'm not there, or I'm still having toxic traits, or you know, I know with me, the outer is Dejanay is this laughing person all the time. So of course I'll run into somebody that laughs a lot. But like on the inside, if I'm not together, I'm only going to meet what I am. And I feel like that's in any relationship, friendship, you're going to meet what you are. So it's like you have to work on yourself, those toxic traits and stuff. Because if not, you're going to keep seeing cycles. And I know that was me. Like I would go on dates like, why am I like, what am I doing wrong that I'm dating people? And it was me. I didn't know how to communicate. So when I learned that I need to properly communicate and show my emotions, I started attracting healed people.
Aw.
ooh, hey.
Yeah, you got to communicate. And I struggle with that for a long time. I still struggle from time to time on communicating. And that's communicating across the board. And I'm not about to get up here and every day tell you that I'm going to the gas station or I'm going to the bathroom.
I don't have that.
That level of communication is dumb. Like, no, I'm going to communicate with you. Like, if I feel some type of way or I don't appreciate or like something, we're going to talk about it now. Unless we can't talk about it right now, I'm not going to text you about this. I'm going to be like, no, when you get a chance, call me or I'll call you. And we're going to figure out a way, because texting can go any way. You'll read that text message in the anger that I had. But, you know, let's meet up. If we got time, let's go grab something to eat and let's talk about this joint, because we can't hide this no more. And I'm not going to allow that, because I ain't trying to be stressed out over something stupid. And I don't think nobody should be stressed out about something stupid. Like, all right, now if you cheating, all right, cool. Talk about that cheating, man. Like, tell that girl why you can't keep your man in your pants, and tell that man why you can't keep your legs closed. That's adulting. That's real life. Like, if you just dealing with that, and this is when we go back to you know, strongholds, and we go back to generational curses. If every man in your family was a cheater, then you gonna be a cheater unless you break that curse and be a faithful man. And if everyone every nigga you've been with, you got pregnant by him, because that's how your whole family is, then at some point you gotta feel like, the next man I get, we ain't having sex right now. Well, we gonna wrap that mug up or tie them tubes. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. But other than that, if you don't break that generational curse off your family, and you ain't gonna do nothing but keep on producing. That means you just sowing that seed into the next generation, and you have to be the one. And I always aim to be that generational curse breaker for my family. You know, you gotta break it, and that takes a lot, because now you got to go back to the root. And if your root is still living, then you got to go back to the root and figure out why my family dysfunctional. Why nobody in my family can stay married? You know, why we got all these baby daddies and baby mamas? You know, do I have another brother out here somewhere that don't have the same mama or the same dad? Okay. Those are questions that you got to ask at the Thanksgiving table, at the family reunion, and, you know, Christmas events. Because if you don't ask them, guess what? You're going to keep on producing that and sowing that seed into everybody. And your kids are going to be out here wilding out. You know, my kids are very angry. And I had to realize, I was an angry person. You know, I did anger management for 8 years, and I still was angry. Like I was, but that was my childhood. That's because I was a bitter child. I was abused and all that stuff, and that's just stuff. But I had to go to my, I had to go back to my brothers and my sisters and tell them like the things that we dealt with as a child, I didn't appreciate. You know, the verbal abuse from family members and the verbal abuse from church people. I had to talk about that because I would date a female and verbally abuse her because I was verbally abused.
Used to. Yeah.
So I only gave what I was used to. If you talk about me, you said something about me, no, you're going to hurt just as bad as I hurt. But when you break it, because I had to have a conversation with the women in my family or a female in my family, like, yo, I didn't appreciate that. So now you realize like you got to have that honest conversation. And sometimes breaking that generational curse is a conversation.
Yes, it is. So how do you articulate your emotions without being vulnerable? That's a question on here. To me, I have to talk it out because I am a crier. I'm really a little soft little thing. Sabrina tell you, I am. So I have to like talk things over. Like I have to play the conversation out a couple times to myself, cry about it. So when I show up at the table,
you can't tap into emotions without being vulnerable to a certain extent.
You have to.
That's
and that's the way that you really can like really talk is you got.
That's the only way they're gonna feel your heart, like So that's a difficult question because you gotta feel my heart in this situation.
This is
and I might not cry, I might cuss, but I'm being sincere. I can tell you go cuss. I might not cry, but first of all, if I cry, then you already know for a fact, this is
deep.
This is deep. Like now, I should get an award for this. You look like you cry, But
I know I do. Listen, I'm here to tell y'all, I am like this. But so it's so weird because I'm just putting me out here, but most of the people on here kind of already know. Like I am like a real, I don't know. I love people, but I love I was one. So growing up, I'm not gonna say that. Like I wasn't the rejected one, but I didn't like watching how people were treated. So I'm a lover. So it's like I take everything to heart. Like I am. So when people see me, they would think differently. Like you're just this strong person, but that's like just the defense of me being in public because of the hurts that I've had in relationships. So it's like when I walk in places, it's like, yes, I'm putting up this face and people say all these kind of things like she's bougie or this, but that's really to protect me from y'all and y'all from me because it's like, I really don't want to talk too much. I don't know who you are, where my space is. So I'm very when I'm out. But if you get this person that laughs uncontrollably and
right, you're comfortable
digging you, and I'm like this, you got me because I love hard. But I'm definitely a crier. What would you say, Sabrina?
It is. Yeah, I'm gonna say this, DJ. Now I'm gonna say this live. I'm gonna say this on this platform.
Oh Lord.
Too.
I want you to understand something. I did not grow up with understanding that it was okay to cry or that crying. I just didn't grow up with that. I didn't grow up with hugs and everything. I feel like one of the reasons that why God brought you into my life is to show me how strength comes from being vulnerable. You are beautiful being vulnerable in the space that you're in. You are amazing. I realized that I would see you sis, I don't want to. And I promise you, it was, how can she just tap into that? I was like, I wish I could do that. And I realized that God allowed for you to come into my life. One of the many reasons is God allowed for you to come into my life to teach me that one, it's you're not weak when you allow for yourself to go to that level of vulnerability, because real talk, it really takes a lot of strength to remove the layers, the what are they going to say about me? It takes a lot of strength to get there. And if you can get there easily, that's number one. Number two, it's actually very healing. That is yo, God has been really dealing with me in that aspect. Within this last year, I have cried more in my life in this year than I've ever cried. And I'm starting to realize that it's okay. It doesn't make me weak. It doesn't make me less of the you know what I'm saying? Because I'm listen now. You know what I mean?
I ain't doing that. I'm just future.
It doesn't make me less of the strong person that I am, but it actually does make me stronger to be able to tap into what's wrong with me, to release it. And it's like a cleansing kind of process. So I said all that to say, like, I'm thankful that you are the way that you are. Please don't think that, don't call yourself a crier like it's a bad thing.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you have a pure heart, and she has a pure heart, and that you want to be around people with a pure heart. And crying is not. I used to think, and I agree with you, I used to think crying was such a bad thing until, I started to realize that when we talk about, and I'm not going too deep into this, when we talk about when Jesus cried after Lazarus died, that was the most human moment that people knew that Jesus was real.
He cried.
Because when he cried from a pure place, from a place like, yo, my friend, my brother, my confidant, whatever, my best friend. And so when you hang around people with a pure heart, you adapt to that and know that even Jesus, as he said in scripture, that he understands our tears. And sometimes we're not crying out of hurt. We're not crying out of pain. Sometimes we just crying out of happiness. Like, it's a pure heart. And I'm just glad that I could be able to just express myself through tears. Because I couldn't cry for years. Like, I would not cry. I would be angry. I'm like you. Like, I will punch a wall before I cry. Like, I will go beat somebody's car up before I cry. But now it's just like, I'm at that place now where I can just walk into a room and feel the burdens of other people or feel the room. And I immediately get like emotional. And I'm just like, all right, God, because you gave me this spirit. And when you know who you are, then you'll protect your gift. And so that's a gift from God, that you are able to adapt to a room and still know exactly, like, when you come into a room, you take on the burdens of that room, but it don't control you. Like, you can pray, be like, I'm not gonna become that. You know what I'm saying? And that comes with a whole level of being
empathy.
Yeah, and seeking the face of God. And I told you I don't want to be deep, but I had to. Seeking the face of God. When you seek
this, don't care.
When you seek his face and you are always in prayer and you're always in meditation and you have a peace with God. And my biggest prayer was, God, let me know or let me feel, who's around me. Because I want to be able to know, like, when my guys are sitting at the table with me, I want to be able to feel that somebody's depressed at this table. And I even had to ask God to back up a little bit on that, because I will feel the burdens around me. Same. And sometimes when you're not strong enough, you end up adapting to that burden. But when you are strong enough, you can pray your friend through. And then they'll be like, okay, I feel much better now. And you want to make sure you are that person. If everybody in your friend group is always in a sunken place and nobody can get anybody out, then all y'all gonna drown. You gotta have somebody that got enough strength and power to pray to God to say, all of us in here can't be bound. All of us in here can't be insecure. All of us in here cannot be going through something. Somebody gotta be able, like Peter, to take that step, because if we all stay on this boat, guess what? We gonna die. Because the water and the waves and the anxiety, depression, the stress and everything in our life is too hard. So if we all stay on this boat, somebody got to take that step to know that Jesus is real.
No, for
and
real.
It had to be Peter.
And Dejanay, honey, about to be in that sunken place. I'll be like, Father God, and nobody about shot.
Okay, so
you not about to stay that way around me. Good night.
Let me ask y'all this. So I seen something on Facebook this week. So I know we're all on here. We all have the Holy Spirit, and it's evident. I saw on Facebook, and they said when the spouses, both of them, have the Holy Spirit, it makes their relationship better. What do y'all think? So let me talk on my point. No, y'all go first. I'll go last.
No, go ahead, because you know what, we've been going.
When the two have the Holy Spirit, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't personally believe that is true, because I know I walk, talk, and breathe. Like, I'm like, God, I have got to the place that I'm like, okay, God, so what am I going to wear today? Because I'm cautious of, like, I want anything that I have to show light. So I want like somebody to be like, oh my God, like what is that shirt? Like Goat Girls Pray. Yes, like it's a not attractive, but like I've literally got into that place where it's like, okay, God, show me who to talk to today, God. Show me who to be transparent with. Show me, what am I saying? I was in a relationship where, we both had it and it didn't make us better than the next. We still was hiding stuff. We wasn't, I don't know. I don't think that it made it easier.
I'm gonna say this.
I don't think it did, but I could be wrong.
Two people can have great credit and still make bad financial decisions.
I agree.
Regardless of what you have access to, if you do not tap into that access, or you don't have the knowledge to, I guess, take advantage of whatever it is that you have access to, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can have 12 basketballs. If I don't know how to use them, that don't make me a WNBA player. I can own a basketball court. That don't make me a coach. You have to be able to, you got to tap in. Everyone that gets saved, that not everyone gets the impartation of the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
Those that do, you have to listen to them. Listen to them. You got to spend time. This is how you know when a person has a relationship with God or when they subscribe to religion. People that have a relationship with God feel what's going on in the room. They're able to know that they shouldn't wear this today without looking at the weather. People that are subscribed to religion look good on social media, but are depressed and ready to. But anyway,
social media makes them feel good. You said when you know who you are, and that's kind of like a big thing. We've been kind of like talking about that all night of knowing yourself. And if we go to the church part, that being saved and stuff, that's a spiritual gift. And you have to know exactly who you are and know that even with two being together, like, we both operate differently. I might be prophetic, you might just be whatever, but if you don't know who you are, then you're going to think you're prophetic because I'm prophetic, but when you know what role you play in ministry or in life, period. And I kind of think, and this is gonna mess everything up. That's kind of like the battle in two that's in ministry now, where there's a power struggle between a husband and wife. In ministry, there's a big power struggle because he want to be the man, he want to be dominant, and she want to be the woman, and she want to be dominant. So, pastor and first lady, pastor and co-pastor, now you got to keep elevating your wife so she can fit this thing. But when you know who you are, if your wife is the pastor, then you are fine with your wife being a pastor because you know who you are and you know how to operate in the lane that God has given you. And when you know how to operate in your lane, she's the one that can build the ministry. You just don't have it. You don't have the heart of the people to build the ministry. And then it could be vice versa. She don't have the heart of the people. So she has to stay in her lane. But that's when you know exactly who you are. And that's a hard conversation that those two need to have outside of the four walls of the church. Because if you don't have that conversation outside the four walls of the church, when we get in church, she's going to disagree with everything you preach. She's not going to like nothing that you say. She's not going to like how you welcome to people. If you say, I love you across the pulpit to people, nigga, you don't tell me you love me.
You don't tell that.
Yeah. So now there's a big issue there. So it goes all in knowing who you are, knowing, that's a conversation between you and God almost like, God, show me who I am. Give me that wisdom and that understanding like Solomon on. I need to know exactly who I am. Because if I don't know who I am, I'm going to be everything. Yeah. You can't be everything because nobody want that.
I just said this to Sabria, but I learned who I was. Like, because there was a time I didn't. So it was like I was a chameleon, But when you learn who you are, this goes back to who you date. You're not like, I'm not just going out with anybody because I've invested in learning who I am. So it's like, I know what I want. I know what I like. I know who I am. So it's like, I know what my assignment, right, and whose I am. So I feel like that goes along with dating. Like, I think that should be your thing before you even decide to date is who are you? Because who are you? Like, if I know who I can't have
secure
something, right, be something for me, and I'm like, I want him to be who he is and validate me, and you're validating a person that doesn't know who she is.
Can I say this on here without your
Say-
live getting shut down?
Say.
Can I say this without
say to you?
without people beating you up? Or they could come for me. Most men become pastors because they are insecure.
Ooh.
And the only respect, the only fame and fortune that you get is when you are on that stage.
Wow.
When you're not in front of that microphone, you're not on the stage, so you are absolutely nobody. And these guys become pastors, and you are insecure pastor. And I say it for women too, so I say men and women become pastors. And most people, you don't have no respect outside of that pulpit. So the only time, I said it before, the only time you have respect is with a microphone in your hand, because you're not gonna. Well, we come from our culture, church. You're not gonna disrespect the pastor,
right?
You're not,
right? So these insecure guys, these people that used to be something else in the church, you was a janitor. Now all of a sudden you want to be a pastor because you didn't get no respect as a janitor. You was the worship leader. You didn't get no respect as a worship leader. So now the Lord, quote unquote, is calling you to be a pastor. And then you got all these people walking with you. You got all these accolades, all these titles, all these names. Because guess what? You got this big old honorarium package. You never even went to school, but you got all these degrees that you got offline, and you built it because you are an insecure person. And the only security you have is on that pulpit with a flyer. And that's a danger. That's a danger going back to it when you don't know who you are.
Who you are.
Many are called, but few are chosen. I'm sorry.
Good. That pertains to all professions.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say all police officers are like that, but a lot of them are.
A lot of police officers.
Gonna be honest. You know, that really pertains to everyone. And you know what? I'm going to add that as number 3 to your question earlier, Dejanay. How do you protect yourself? Number 3 is knowing your assignment, knowing who you are, because guess what? Once you know,
you can't make something out.
Yo, facts. Like, when God made Adam and Eve, he told Adam what to do. Okay, he told him to name the animals. Okay, get you know what I'm saying? He gave him an assignment, and he told him not to eat the fruit. He told Adam that. He didn't tell Eve. He told Adam that. He told her to be a helper. You feel what I'm saying? So I said all of that to say, kind of to sum up everything, I guess.
I think we need to come back next week. I know you got your podcast.
Oh my God. Yeah. You know what? I want Kenneth to, before we go, I really want you to tell us
about your. But wait, we're gonna come back on next week because I really feel like we could be doing like maybe just one more week of it.
I'm cool with that, but he can introduce his podcast now, and if he's okay.
Watching, I'm like, he didn't took what we said yesterday, and it's like you can have everything that was discussed tonight.
This was a great addition. I think that this was a very healthy conversation that flowed. Yeah. Okay. That's key. So anywho, so yeah, Kenneth, I heard you had a podcast.
Yeah, so my podcast is called I Have a Lot Going On. So it's my life. It's the other side of pastoring. It's the other side of being a man. I'm a pastor, father, entrepreneur, all that. So you get like an in-depth look at who I am, and it's just me being open, expressing myself. And my biggest prayer is that through my life experience, people are healed and they can grow. I'm going to talk about grief, dating, why I don't want to date, why dating sucks. I'm going to talk about life after my dad. I'm going to talk about my kids, my 2 years of pastoring, and why it's so difficult being a pastor at a young age. So it's going to be like a whole lot, and I'm going to have guests on my show. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty cool. Huh?
You bringing us on?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pray on that one. Y'all a little wild group. I'm gonna have to pray on that one. Yeah, but some of the shows are some of it's gonna be like, we're gonna switch over into videos. And so it's gonna be like, sit down co-host and all that stuff. But tomorrow we start our premiere, so it's gonna be dope.
That's
and we'll air it. Yeah, tomorrow's just gonna be the opening introduction. I'm gonna talk a little bit about pastoring, and I'm in my second year. Am I my second? Yeah, my second year of pastoring. a church that's been established over 35 years. And so the challenges that I've faced with trying to merge a generation and a culture of people. So it's going to be amazing. And y'all can subscribe. I'll post my stuff. Y'all can subscribe to my YouTube. I have a lot going on. Then podcasts, Spotify and all that. I have a lot going on. And we'll just talk. It's gonna be pretty decent. I'll share some vulnerable moments. I'm not gonna be all church, and I had to share that with my team. They told me I didn't have to be all church and all deep. Sometimes you know, I just want people to get the realness of me. Yeah, I'm very human, and I feel like the only way you're gonna save a generation is for them to know that you are human, and pastors do make mistakes and they have struggles. And again, like y'all said, you know, you got to show grace, and that's the danger of arrogant pastors. And I'm not an arrogant pastor. You know, I could be exposed tomorrow, and my biggest prayer is that God will always show grace and mercy upon my life, and you know, keep me level-headed. So that's it. I appreciate y'all so much for even bringing me on tonight and letting me say my little piece. Appreciate that.
So we coming first. So Sabria, what you got going on? I guess we might as well do that. And then are we coming back on next week? What night is this?
I think we should. And you know what?
Just one more week. Can you give us one more week?
I possibly can.
Tuesday, I think. So respectfully, we really can come back next Tuesday with him. Me and you says, I mean, if we want to pop up again this week, I'm down. But in regards to this particular you know, space with the guest, I'm down for sure. I really I appreciated, you know, the dialogue, the input. You know what I'm saying? As far as me, I have my own podcast called The Brand Voice Podcast. Yeah.
Wait, can I clap on here?
You sure?
Did it work?
You said,
did my clap work?
I heard it. It sounds
I already Lord, just
Dang, I'm trying to clap for you. I don't know how to work this stuff.
It's okay. It's the thought that counts. It's fine.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But I have my podcast called The Brand Voice Podcast. And I'm going to say this. I knew in my spirit that I needed to start a podcast, right? And I'm the fairy brand mother. I do branding. I brand businesses, so on and so forth, right? So my initial purpose to start it was to have a platform to just share business tips, branding, so on and so forth. But I was not fully being myself. And I forgot that God created me the way that I am to share that part of me, you know? So the second season of the Brand Voice Podcast is going to be all me. Not saying that the first one wasn't, but I was just trying to hold back a lot of me and be strategic and, you know, and I took a lot of myself out of it. So by second season, honey, it's going to be all Sabria, the fairy brand mother. But I do have my own podcast. You know, of course, I do my branding and stuff. I'm going to start going live a lot more. Have, you know, Starbucks with Bree. You know, my talks in the car be some serious conversations.
I'm scared.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I be cussing people out on the road. Get out of my way. I'm letting y'all know now. If you don't want to hear it, don't tap in with Bree, because you're going to hear me go. So get out the way. And, you know, I just feel like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah. I also have my Canva classes.
Yes, you do.
This
What's
week.
the Canva classes?
So Canva is a platform for people to get graphic design easy. You don't necessarily have to get a degree, but you can throw something together. And I'm teaching people how to navigate the platform. My first class was yesterday. I broke it down into 3 days: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's called Not Your Mama's Canva class. Okay. And today was introducing people to the platform, like this is where everything is at. This is what Canva offers. Wednesday, I'm going to start actually designing things and showing people how I make. Now, I am an actual graphic designer. I do use Adobe Suite, but I also know how to use Canva. And there's a lot of things that I've thrown together, but nobody thought that I did because of how well I know how to use the platform. So
That's nice.
So I'm teaching people how to use it. And then Friday, I'm going to specifically customize and help people design things like their brand boards. If you want to create flyers for upcoming event, like Friday is going to be specifically catered to that, to those that are in my class. So if you want to attend Not Your Mama's Canva class, you go to makeyourimagematter.com. Okay. Period. And you'll find info on me, so on and so forth. Period. I said what I said. Back to you at the studio, DJ.
So what I got going on? So y'all already know every Tuesday and Thursday, 5 p.m. I do 5 a.m. prayer on here. Which she used her weapon. So that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then I'm really excited. I just released, or we didn't release it yet, but my program just got picked up in the school for the Peekaboo box.
What's the Peekaboo box?
So the Peekaboo box is a hygiene box that I have for little girls. So it teaches them all about their bodies. It teaches them how to properly wash, everything they need to do concerning their period. It's also a teaching method as the disconnect between the parents and the child. So the school program is going to be me teaching little boys and little girls about hygiene and how hygiene helps produce self-esteem, leadership, and all of that. You know, take care. Nice. You'll want to represent full holistically. So we are excited. Sabria and I just finished the box today.
Literally.
Presentation on the 26th. So we're really excited. Yeah. Besides that, I said Tuesday and Thursday is prayer. What else am I doing? Of course, y'all know y'all can get free hair on my website at www.
Free hair?
Free hair.
H-E-R.
So you can purchase free hair at my website. What else am I doing? I feel like I got so much going on.
What's the new thing you got? The divorce.
Oh, I forgot about that. Monday nights, I'm doing the unspoken D word, dealing with divorce. And I think that's it for this season.
Oh, I have a book out. I could just throw that in there too. I have a book on Amazon. It's called Identity Crisis. Check that out. Yeah, so
let's go. Identity Crisis.
Let's get that. Y'all make sure.
You know what, sis? Boom. Speaking of books, I got my poetry book out called Of a Broken Healer.
Yep.
Okay.
Work it.
You can find it on my website too. I'm working on my biography now. I'm going to intertwine it, and Psalms of a Broken Healer is a synopsis of poems that I wrote with excerpts of like little snippets of what will be in my biography. So you'll get like poems and then get like a paragraph of something that'll be in my biography to let you know what's to come. So
I guess we working.
I mean,
we're working on a devotional. Life Without Dad. It's a 15-day devotional for men and women that lost their fathers, like me. And so me and my team is working on a 15-day. We might extend it, so it's just something to motivate you on how to deal with grief and anxiety and depression for losing a parent. So we'll throw things in there for if you lost any parent, or mom or step parent or whatever the case may be. So we're working on that. So that should be out this year too.
So I don't have nothing else around this go around. But I was killing it. I was
guys, I think we're fire.
I do too.
I think we're fire.
I think we bond.
Yeah, y'all look crazy.
Nope.
Now, respectfully, we fire. I don't care. We fire. Like, did we not just body this whole conversation and was like, oh, by the way, I got this, and this going on, man? Because when God pull up, he be pulling up.
He be pulling up.
He takes care of his people.
Do.
Don't see
Oh my God, you guys are so amazing. Oh my God.
So look, y'all. So y'all can see us again. Yo, these comments is I love it. I love it. I love it. So next Tuesday, we was a little late this week because somebody had a girl meeting.
I pastored a church and I had a staff meeting, y'all. That
You
was
did.
very
You
important.
know what? And ain't nothing wrong with it.
We were
Next
doing
week,
good.
I'll be on time.
Good. What nobody did nobody care. It's fine.
And my kids won't be here. I might let one of them come on the camera, but they bad, yo. So
My child be here. She's taking full advantage right now. She's in the bathroom doing makeup right now.
well, bless your heart.
So next Tuesday, we might can add your picture onto the flyer.
I'm good. Oh, I can't do next Tuesday.
Okay.
See?
Okay, y'all. I have a wait. What time?
What time?
No,
What time?
8.
Oh, people act so brand new.
You should know how this go. I have a photo shoot next Tuesday for my church.
At 8 p.m.
I'll let y'all know by tonight.
Father God, in the Jesus, Lord.
No, so y'all, next Tuesday
we'll
up in the air. Y'all don't hang up when I end the live, okay? Y'all don't hang up.
Okay.
But thank y'all again. Inbox us. Let us know how y'all enjoyed tonight. Any questions concerning dating next week? Follow us all. Here go our names here. So follow us all on social media, all our platforms. I'll be posting flyers for Kenny's podcast tomorrow, as well as book flyers, Sabria's Canva classes. I share my stuff all the time. I see y'all at 5 a.m. Period. All right, y'all. Y'all don't hang up.
Bye, y'all.
See y'all.
See ya.